Excellencies, colleagues, partners. Also on behalf of my colleague Sigrid Kaag, thank you all for attending today's meeting and turning into our CE Champions commitment segment. The sheer number of videos submitted from across the globe and from such a variety of partners is just a confirmation of how important the circular economy is in combating three global crises: the pollution crisis, the biodiversity crisis, and the climate crisis. The months ahead will be absolutely crucial. We must take bold steps towards addressing these crises and ensuring that we reach the goals of the Paris Agreement. This segment of the conference shows the importance of leading by example. And I'm proud to be surrounded by so many ambitious colleagues who are determined to innovate, collaborate, and ultimately work towards a circular economy. The Netherlands is ambitious. We aim to halve our use of natural resources by 2030 and be completely circular by 2050. But we also very much know that we cannot do this alone. We commit to working internationally in every way to make sure that, just like these crises, our solutions transcend borders. The Netherlands stands ready to strengthen our efforts on plastic, textiles, and electronics internationally, with the European Plastics Pact, the Denim Deal, and the Circular and Fair ICT Pact that we will launch before this summer. The Netherlands also commits to collaborating across sectors, upscaling actions, and raising the bar through the Platform for Acceleration of the Circular Economy. The Netherlands is prepared to enhance cross-regional collaboration, working closely with the Global Alliance for Circular Economy and Resource Efficiency and with the African Circular Economy Alliance, and also with the Latin American and Caribbean Circular Economy Coalition, and with the regional 3R and Circular Economy Forum in Asia and the Pacific. The Netherlands stands ready to be a creative partner for the hard-to-abate sectors, working towards circular solutions. And the Netherlands commits to taking the voice of future generations seriously, working closely with youth to ensure the just transition to a circular economy across the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, we commit to keeping circular economy high on the international agenda and to ensure that we do our utmost to reach the goals of the Paris Agreement and our SDG targets. Thank you so much again for joining us today. Let's continue to build a circular world.
Greetings from the sunny island of Aruba. As a world, we are confronted with significant sustainable development challenges and crossroads, or perhaps we need to view these as opportunities. In the wake of the pandemic, our island of Aruba is unwavering in its commitment to achieve island-wide systemic transition towards a circular model that is affordable and realizable. Embracing a new way of thinking, new levels of boldness and ambitions applied towards paving a way forward to become a sustainable, inclusive, and resilient island. As a small island development state in the Caribbean, we recognize the planetary limits just as the contours of our island, and we understand the state and pace of change and its transformative power, like the ebb and flow of the sea. Bringing about this process of change in Aruba, we use the Sustainable Development Goals as our compass. Aruba has sought synergies and coherence in its national policies, creating a coherent strategic direction and reframing and redesigning our building blocks that is able to spur the island toward a strengthened resilience in environmental, economic, and social terms. Aruba has taken the opportunity to reposition its sails and is a partner regionally and internationally in fostering circular innovation, together to think in big ways and develop pathways for innovation. Globally, I believe we are at the cusp of bending this arc. We have to keep this momentum going.
Hola. Es muy grato para mí poder estar en este Foro Mundial de la Economía Circular. Desde Argentina les mandamos un gran saludo y nos gustaría junto a ustedes reflexionar sobre la importancia de la economía circular. Evidentemente nos encontramos ante una situación donde tenemos que replantearnos métodos productivos y formas de vivir. Es por eso que el paradigma de consumir bienes o servicios descartables o de uso reducido, corto en el tiempo, es un paradigma viejo que tenemos que sustituirlo por un nuevo orden, un nuevo comportamiento, un nuevo estilo de vida, un nuevo paradigma, que pueda reutilizar aquello que consumimos, que compramos, aquel bien, aquel servicio, para que de esa manera utilicemos menos energía en la producción de servicios que pueden ser reemplazados por los que ya tenemos, también para gastar menos, también para ayudar a nuestras economías y obviamente para cuidar el planeta y para no contaminar. En Argentina estamos llevando a cabo una política muy sólida para erradicar basurales a cielo abierto, que son muchos en nuestro país y en nuestra región. Al mismo tiempo, estamos por iniciar una discusión en el Parlamento para que los grandes productores de packaging, es decir, de empaque, tengan que abonar o que pagar una alícuota, un porcentaje, por ese bien que producen y que al mismo tiempo ese bien, como por ejemplo un envase de una bebida o de un producto de limpieza, que sabemos que después llega a los ríos y llega a los mares y también perjudica nuestra fauna ictícola y contamina. Esas empresas tienen que tener responsabilidad extendida al productor, el principio REP, y eso es una norma que estamos discutiendo en el Parlamento. Les dejo un gran saludo y espero que sea fructífero el encuentro que están llevando a cabo. Gracias a todos y a todas.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Wilkinson, and I am Canada's Minister of Environment and Climate Change. The COVID-19 pandemic has taught us a number of lessons this past year, one of them being that our relationship with nature is currently out of balance. We must rethink and reimagine what harmony with nature can look like. This means, among other things, using our resources more efficiently and acknowledging that our actions are part of an ecosystem where everything is connected. It means reconceptualizing things like the idea of waste and moving to a paradigm where we think of virtually everything as a resource. One of my commitments for the Government of Canada is to actively support the bold task of scaling up the global circular economy. At home, the transition to a more circular economy will help Canada to achieve our goal of zero plastic waste by 2030. This is just one step in our plan to move towards a truly circular economy. And on the world stage, Canada will have the pleasure and honor of hosting the World Circular Economy Forum 2021 in September. The World Circular Economy Forum will stimulate discussion among all key actors, governments, institutions, business leaders, Indigenous groups, and civil society. We want to share inspiring examples, create partnerships, and foster innovation. The global circular economy is part of the holistic approach that we can and must take to achieve net zero emissions by 2050 and to reduce the challenge of pollution in our natural environment. By working together, we will build a cleaner, healthier future for our children and our grandchildren. Thank you very much.
In Chile, we have defined that the transformation to a circular economy is a fundamental way to reach our carbon neutrality and resilient goals. Integrating these two agendas is one of our biggest achievements. Last April 2020, Chile presented an ambitious updated NDC. We were one of the first countries to include circular economy commitments in an NDC. Circularity plays a key role in mitigating emissions. At a global level, switching to renewable energy can reduce emissions by only 55%. The remaining 45% can only be tackled by changing the way we make and we use products. Circular economy has a fundamental role for this. Circular economy also plays a key role in adaptation to climate change. The circular use of water and the role that the flow of organic materials can have on regenerating our soils are just some examples. In my role as president of COP25, I am committed to promote the inclusion of the circular economy commitments in the country's new updated NDCs. this is a key instrument where these two agendas, the climate agenda and the circularity agenda, can come together with concrete and measurable goals. We have this goal, reaching carbon neutrality in 2050 at the latest. Finally, I am also very proud for having pushed forward the cultural transformation we need to move towards circularity. This requires education, for sure, but it also needs to provide a daily experience of circularity to people for changing their habits. In that sense, policies such as the banning of plastic bags that we enacted into law in 2018 make a huge impact and change of habits in a very short period of time, getting people to realize that changing daily habits is possible as well as necessary to tackle the climate crisis that we are facing. The success of this law with the people gave us the public support we need to continue accelerating a circular agenda. In that sense, that was key for the approval in the Congress of the law for banning the single-use plastic in Chile that we have been pushing and that will become law in our country next month.
We stand at a pivotal moment in the fight against the climate and biodiversity crises that pose a threat to our very survival. The pandemic has shown our fragility as human beings and reminded us all that our own health depends on the planet's well-being. Contrary to this pandemic, there will be no vaccine to help us. We need to actively restore nature and transform our economy. The European Union is working to become the first climate-neutral continent. Over half of global greenhouse gas emissions come from resource extraction and processing. Clean energy alone will therefore not be enough to reach our goals. We also need to decouple growth from resource use and fully embrace the model of a circular economy. For that, we must profoundly change our production and consumption patterns. We need to reduce primary resource use and invest in circular business models, service-based models, a sharing economy, and reverse logistics, to name a few. We also need to ensure that our products respect the highest sustainability standards. We need durable, reusable, and repairable products. Products made of recycled materials and designed for high-quality recycling in turn. To that end, the European Commission will present the European Sustainable Product Policy by the end of this year, a policy to make sure that products are designed for circularity from the start. But action in Europe will not be enough. We need the entire world on board. Only with a circular economy can we reach climate neutrality, reverse biodiversity loss, and allow humanity to prosper within planetary boundaries.
The circular economy is very high on the Commission agenda. It's there at the heart of the European Green Deal, and we believe in its transformative potential. We are committed to climate neutrality by 2050 and to a 55% cut by 2030. They are ambitious targets, but we are confident they are within our reach. Half of all emissions, as well as 90% of biodiversity loss and water stress, can all be traced back to one thing. It's our use of resources. We need a different model, which rethinks our approach, a model that uses resources for longer, a model which reduces, reuses, and recycles, the model of the circular economy. Europe has an action plan that sets out our commitments, and in 2021, we have a full program of measures on the way. There will be a specific initiatives for value chains where the potential for improvement is particularly high. It features tailored actions for textiles, buildings, batteries, electronics, food waste, plastics, and packaging. There will also be a new general framework for sustainable products, which will eventually apply across the board. 2021 is a big year for circular economy. Join us to find out more at the World Circular Economy Forum Climate.
Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pride to be here today on a journey we started together in 2017 when the first World Circular Economy Forum was launched in Helsinki. The circular economy is an essential part of climate action. We see circular economy as a way to diversify economy, create new and better jobs, and develop skills for the future. Finland is committed to the implementation of the Paris Agreement and Agenda 2030. We will mitigate and facilitate adaptation to climate change in all areas of foreign and security policy. The circular economy plays a crucial role in achieving Finland's goal of becoming climate neutral by 2035. This spring, actually, we launched a new society-wide circular economy strategy, and before that, we implemented a national circular economy roadmap. Circular activities possess high employment potential also in developing markets. Digitalization and innovation create new opportunities, but the transition also involves some jobs becoming obsolete. Just transition to circular economy is one of Finland's key priorities in supporting our partner countries to build back better and greener. We commit to many things, and first of all, I want to mention that we want to support developing countries, especially in Africa, to develop and integrate circular economy roadmaps into their national development and climate strategies. Secondly, I want to point out that continuing to invest in education, including vocational education and training in our partner countries. We will also increase scientific and research cooperation with our partners in circular economy and green transition. My third point is collaboration. Collaborating with developing countries to encourage their inclusion in multilateral discussions in areas such as trade and environmental sustainability. And fourthly, promoting measures to improve reasonable business conduct and business and investment conditions in Africa in particular. And fifthly, directing at least 75% of all new development policy investments to climate finance, including circular economy and MSME finance. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, transition to circular economy offers us key tools to overcome some of the biggest challenges to humanity. Let's make the most out of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, natural resources are the foundation of every aspect of our daily life. Managing these resources sustainably is vital for the well-being and health of our societies and our planet. Resource efficiency and circular economy play a key role in combating climate change. It will be impossible to achieve our ambitious climate targets if we do not further advance the sustainable use of finite resources. That is why in Germany we have been working for many years to establish circular economy systems. As early as 1996, we enshrined the principles of circular economy in law. In 2005, we put a stop to the landfilling of untreated municipal waste, since landfilling is the most climate-damaging form of waste management. Ending this practice was a milestone for climate action. Circular economy begins at the product development stage. Only resource-efficient product design will enable us to prevent today's products from becoming tomorrow's waste, ensure that we use finite primary raw materials more carefully. My ministry presents annual awards to companies with especially innovative and sustainable product designs. To improve production processes, we are working with our Competence Center for Resource Efficiency to help business develop better processes, in this way leverage climate action potential. For sustainable use of resources, an important step is to forgo superfluous packaging wherever possible and opt instead for reusable alternatives. To encourage this, Germany introduced a deposit system for drinking containers quite a number of years ago. To avoid single-use plastic, we are now also making reusable alternatives mandatory in the restaurant and catering sector for the sale of takeaway food. All in all, we are on the right track in Germany and in Europe, but we still have major tasks before us. In the future, we need to strengthen our integrated approach to climate action, resource efficiency and circular economy and consider them together when updating our programs. For circular economy is crucial to combating climate change on our planet.
Chairperson, Ghana recognizes that the current linear economic model puts undue pressure on our natural resources, consumes land that can be put to better use, creates pollution that affects our health, and results in inaffordable waste management costs, especially for developing countries. Resource use has tripled over the last half-decade and could double again by 2060 if we continue with this linear model. This is clearly unsustainable. In particular, COVID-19 has shown that we are vulnerable to economic shocks that result from disruptions in the current value chains. The world is certainly not on track to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees as required under the Paris Agreement, whereas our linear economic model is worsening greenhouse emissions and the climate crisis. Therefore, there is an urgent need for leaders to find ways to match interests in circular economy with finance and investments. Ghana believes that our transition to circular economy will prevent waste and pollution, keep materials in longer use, and regenerate natural systems that lead to a more resilient economy. We have started with plastics to be followed later by electronics, food, textiles, and the built environment. Our national plastics management policy is anchored firmly on circular economy, supported with appropriate EPR schemes, enhanced waste collection systems, and an educated population that is aware of their responsibilities. It carries the population along and protects the vulnerable segments whilst motivating the private sector to adopt and invest in circular business models. It leverages on technology to provide a science so that all can play their parts. Chairperson, I thank you for your kind attention.
Dear friends and colleagues, let me express my gratitude to the hosts of this WCEF plus climate event, the Netherlands and Citra. Minister Veldhoven, thank you for this opportunity to introduce Japan's ambitions to realize a carbon-neutral circular economy. We are now facing two global crises, the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change. To respond, we need to redesign our socio-economic systems to be more sustainable and resilient. For that, Japan is now accelerating three transitions. We aim to build a decarbonized, circular, and decentralized society and economy. In this context, let me commend the Netherlands' commitment. The country aims to achieve carbon neutrality and circular economy both by 2050. Their initiative on the plastic road made from recycled plastics, I found it very interesting. Japan also has some examples to share. In the construction sector, the recycling rate of asphalt concrete is already 99.5%. More recently, a bill on recycling plastics is under deliberation in the Diet. If passed, this will pave the way for plastic materials circulation by 2050. The next decade will make or break. We must join forces for limiting the temperature rise to 1.5 degrees. Together, let's create a circular economy and achieve decarbonization. Let's redesign our socio-economic systems beyond COVID-19. Thank you. ありがとう。
I thank the government of the Netherlands and the Finnish Innovation Fund for organizing and inviting Kenya to participate in this high-level session of the World Circular Economy Forum plus Climate. Today's event comes at a time when humanity is faced with a triple interconnected global environmental emergencies: climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution, and waste. Added and arguably correlated to these environmental crises is the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the recent Circularity Gap report, material use and handling accounts for 70% of the global greenhouse gas emission. Therefore, the Paris Agreement goal on 1.5 may not be attainable unless all countries embrace circular economy principles. Kenya's updated NDC and Climate Change Action Plan mainstream circular economy as an important tool in the fight against climate change and in the attainment of these SDGs in the following priority areas: deployment of renewable energy, energy and water efficiency, promotion of industrial symbiosis, pollution control, and sustainable waste management, climate-smart agriculture, integration of a nature-based solution. Further, in its journey to carbon neutrality, Kenya is developing its long-term greenhouse gas emission strategy 2050, which will enhance the scope of circular economy interventions in all sectors. Kenya has also made significant achievements in promoting environmental sustainability, including banning of single-use polythene bags nationally and single-use plastics in protected conservation areas, developing a sustainable waste management policy and legislation, developing regulations on extended producer responsibility, plastics and chemicals management, and e-waste. Despite progress having been made, finance, technology development, and transfer and capacity remain a major challenge in transitioning to circular economy. Kenya therefore calls upon developed countries and other partners to support developing countries in implementing circular economy interventions through adequate and predictable finance, access to green technology, and capacity building. To this end, we propose that a global fund on circular economy be established to fast-track the desired transition to circular economy. Further, Kenya calls upon all countries to embrace circular economy in their efforts to address the triple global environmental emergencies and in their post-COVID green recovery plans to build back better. I thank you.